Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute wildest statistical paradox in World Series history, and we'll see how it ties directly into a modern-day regular season matchup that Mother Nature might actually completely wash out. Okay, let's jump right into this mystery. We're starting with a mathematical impossibility from 1960 that will literally leave any data nerds scratching their head. I mean, picture this. You're looking at a box score where one team absolutely steamrolls the other in every single offensive category. But somehow, they're the ones watching the other guys hoist the trophy. So how on earth does a team score less than half the runs of their opponent and still win the championship? The 1960 World Series is the perfect example of this mind-bending paradox. The New York Yankees completely, and I mean absolutely completely, obliterated the Pittsburgh Pirates in overall production. The Yankees put up a massive 55 runs on 91 hits over the series, and the Pirates, just 27 runs on 60 hits. On paper, this isn't even a contest. It's a historically unprecedented landslide for New York. And yet, the Pirates were the ones who took home the crown. The whole thing was so lopsided that the World Series MVP award actually went to Bobby Richardson, who played for the losing Yankees. Wild, right? Now, if you really want to grasp how crazy this is, you just need to look at one number. -28. That was the Pittsburgh Pirates' run differential for the entire series. It is, to this day, the lowest run differential ever recorded by any team, winner or loser, in World Series history. It's a total anomaly. Being outscored by nearly 30 runs over 7 games and still walking away as champions, it basically breaks every single rule of baseball statistics. Section 1, the 1960 roller coaster series. So let's get into how this unbelievable emotional whiplash actually played out. How do you even get a negative run differential like that and still win? Well, the secret is all in how those runs were distributed. Think about the games the Yankees won. Game 2 was 16-3. Game 3 was 10-0. Game 6 was 12-0, capped off by a masterful shutout from Whitey Ford. When the Yankees won, they won by absolutely massive blowout margins. But the Pirates, when they secured their wins in games 1, 4, 5, and eventually 7, they barely scraped by in total nail-biters. Pittsburgh's pitching was inconsistent enough to give up huge blowouts, sure, but they were incredibly resilient. When it mattered most, they clutched up and won the close ones. Section 2, the ultimate walk-off. All that dramatic tension, that crazy back and forth between Yankee blowouts and Pirates squeakers sets the perfect stage for a decisive Game 7 at Forbes Field. And Game 7 was an absolute masterpiece of momentum swings. Early on, the Pirates jumped out to a quick 4-0 lead in the first 2 innings. But the Yankees, being the juggernaut they were, came storming back, crushing home runs and grabbing a 7-4 lead by the top of the 8th. It really felt like New York had it in the bag. Then, in the bottom of the 8th, a bad hop hit Yankee shortstop Tony Kubek in the throat, which sparked this wild 5-run rally for Pittsburgh to make it 9-7. But wait, the Yankees weren't done. They tied it right back up, 9-9, in the top of the 9th. Finally, in the bottom of the 9th, Pirates second baseman Bill Mazeroski stepped into the box. On a 1-0 count, he launched a historic drive deep over the left field wall. It was the ultimate walk-off. Bill Mazeroski hit the first ever game-ending home run in a winner-take-all World Series Game 7. It's one of those magical moments that proves baseball is completely unpredictable. I mean, the Pirates were massive underdogs. They were statistically crushed all week, out-hit and outplayed in literally every aggregate metric. But they won because they took the innings that actually mattered. The fallout from this statistically impossible loss was huge, especially over in the Bronx. The legendary Yankees manager Casey Stengel, a guy who had just led the team to an unbelievable 10 pennants in 12 years, was actually forced into retirement right after this defeat. He walked away from the baseball world with this classic, sarcastic quip: "I'll never make the mistake of turning 70 again." Section 3. Flash forward to 2026. 66 years later, on July 21st, 2026, we're seeing an echo of this exact historic rivalry. We're back in a spot where modern analytics are trying to predict a game that history tells us is inherently unpredictable. Taking a snapshot of today's matchup in the Bronx, we've got our probable starters. For the Pirates, right-hander Bubba Chandler is on the mound, carrying a pretty tough 3-8 record with a 4.77 ERA. Meanwhile, the Yankees are sending out W. Warren, who's sitting in a much more comfortable spot with a 7-4 record and a 4.03 ERA. And if we look at the odds makers, it's a super familiar narrative. Just like back in 1960, modern analytics heavily favor New York. The Yankees are the clear moneyline favorites at -155, while the Pirates are the underdogs at +126. If you just look at the data, the records, and the home field advantage, everything screams Yankees victory. Section 4. Weathering today's matchup. As we learned from 1960, baseball loves to defy our expectations. Except today, the great disruptor isn't a plucky underdog second baseman, it's a massive thunderstorm. Real-time weather data for the Bronx is looking pretty bleak for anyone hoping to watch 9 innings of baseball today. Right around the scheduled 4:05 p.m. first pitch, there's a whopping 95% chance of precipitation at Yankee Stadium. So the odds of this game actually starting on time or even being played at all are looking incredibly slim. Sports meteorologist Kevin Roth has even slapped an official orange warning on this afternoon's game. He's tracking a huge line of heavy storms moving in right at game time. So a delay is basically guaranteed, but more importantly, this threatens a total postponement if the storm gets locked in over the stadium. We know these two teams can completely rewrite the statistical odds once they're out on the field. The 1960 Pirates are the ultimate proof that you can absolutely lose on paper and still win a championship. But looking at today's forecast, the real question is, will Mother Nature even allow this next chapter of the rivalry to be written? It really goes to show that no matter how much data you crunch, some things are just totally out of our control. So, what do you think? Will they play ball, or is this one a wash? Keep an eye on the skies, everybody.